Hi, here's a quick overview of the Sunrise Web Reservation plugin as implemented at marcopololand.ca. You log in as admin, and you can see we're on the WordPress admin dashboard. If you go down to Settings, Reservation Settings, you'll see that we have set up a different option group. In this case, for each year, that's the way this campground works. So we've got 2011, 2012, 13, and 14. We may as well just look at the 2014 option group settings. You'll see when you create a new option group, you give it a name, and you do that by saying add new option group. We give it a date range, and then there's different settings for the different areas. So you start by setting up rental categories, rental type IDs. So in this case, there are retail, seasonal, and in type rentals, and there's categories, pardon me, and then there are different rental types that can be associated with those categories. For example, an unserviced campsite which is entered here. Once you enter it there, it comes down here. You can put in the display name and description. The same with all the rest of these. Okay. These are some embeds. You choose which image you want to use as the background for the map on the reservation page. You list the names of taxes that you want to use. In this case, we've got the harmonized sales tax in Canada. And when you click, once you've entered it there, you can enter tax information here. This is a 14% tax. And there's some other options there you can see. Then you can, for the pricing categories that exist, you can set up new pricing categories and the length. So you've got daily rentals, weekly rentals, and monthly rentals with different prices associated with. You'll notice the format's not the best, but it's name, colon, and then the length, a number of days. Then we've got date range pricing categories. So you can have pricing categories for different date ranges. So in this case, there's an off season that goes from May 26th to June 20th. There's a peak season that goes from June 21st to September 8th, etc. And again, we've got this delimited format with name, colon, and then month dash day underscore to underscore month day, comma, and that's how you separate those with comma. Not the best, but that's where we're at. Pricing by rental type then. So once you've entered those first and saved them, pricing by rental type becomes available. For example, if we looked at 3-way 50 amp sites, you'll see now you can choose the type of payment. It can be on reservation, they have to pay the full amount, or there can be a flat rate deposit, which we've defined here. When they make their reservation, they have to pay $20. Deposit per day reserved, or a percentage of the full amount, or just authorization for the full amount, right? These are the different payment types you can get when you're making a reservation. You can choose what taxes are applicable. We've defined HST, and in this case, HST is applicable, so we checked it off. Then you can define pricing for each date range for each pricing category. So in the off season, there's a daily, weekly, and monthly price. In the peak season, there's a daily, weekly, and monthly price, end season, after season. And then in the closed season, in fact, we've entered a daily, weekly, and monthly price. So that's how you set up the pricing for the rentals. Under email settings is where you can choose the content. So this is the content that's sent to the user on registration. For new reservations, there's a subject and the content. It's HTML, so you can make that, of course, in a WordPress post or page, and then just switch to HTML mode and copy and paste it in here. That's where we're at. Updated reservation emails, this is what goes out. Canceled reservation emails, this is what goes out. And then it requires that the person making the reservation, the guest, creates a user account. If they don't have an email address, then we just use an email address at marcopololand.com. So that's the email settings. So we've looked at the rental and pricing settings, email settings. Now we're going to look at the reservation settings. So you put in the page slug that you're going to use as your reservations page. In this case, it's the manage-reservations page that we've created. And the maximum booking date is the last date reservations can be booked by users who are not reservation administrators, right? So you can control when guests can create reservations, the maximum length of reservation they can create, the number of minutes before a pending reservation expires when they haven't put their payment. In this site, we've got a $20 payment flat rate in order to hold the reservation completed. Camping equipment. So this is where we put in a list. These actually translate into a taxonomy that's created automatically. And then we've got payment types. So these are the drop-down list. When an admin is making a reservation, they can choose which payment type the guest is using. PayPal, PayPal by admin, paid manually, credit card on file are the ones that we've defined for this site. Reservations types. There's regular, seasonal. You can do an on-hold wedding, on-hold group, and on-hold tentative. Again, there's only a subset of these that are available to a guest. In fact, I believe the guest can only do regular, but an admin has access to all of them when they're creating a reservation. So I'm going to close reservation settings, and then we're going to look at the PayPal settings, the PayPal email address, the PayPal test email address, and you can turn on PayPal test mode if you're doing testing. Rental exceptions. These are where you can put in special rules, for example, for promotional codes. So the Canadian Automobile Association discount is available from June 21st to September 1st. They have to put in the code CAA, lowercase. In fact, I believe any case is fine. And then this is the message that's displayed to the users. It's a 5% discount if they got their CAA card they show on arrival. And then you can choose whether you want a particular rental exception, i.e. promo code, to display on the rental calendar or available map, because there can be some promo codes that only reservation admins can enter. Anyhow, there's some other options there. Pricing type. So you can choose to specify a whole new different deposit amount, a new daily rate, a flat rate for the exception period, percent adjustment to the regular price. In this case, it makes sense, 5% off, or a flat rate for the exception period after tax. You can choose which rental categories you want to apply the exception to. In this case, just the retail and the inn, and the rental types. In this case, all. And again, these are automatically populated based on the categories and rental types defined above. So you can have your own that's not limited to these ones. And then you can even apply it to specific rentals if you like. So this was an example with the CAA, promotional discount. Here's an example of how they have seasonal sites. So where a person pays for the whole year. In order to do that, they said we're going to make a yearly date range. Flat rate is $17.48 for the year in this case for this seasonal site, applied to all seasonals. So when an admin books a reservation for a seasonal site for the year, they just choose the seasonal 3-way 50 amp site exception, and it automatically puts in that price. And that's basically it in terms of option. You can see it's not simple, and that's why our pricing reflects our help in getting things configured properly. And each year we typically go in with our clients and we will help set up the next year's reservation options. As you can see, they can be different. Obviously, in 2011, the pricing was different than in 2014. And there was GST and PST for taxes instead of just HST because that was brought in, etc., etc. Anyhow, when you go to the front of the site, this is what you'll see. You can make reservations by going to the reservations page or searching through the widget that we've created. When you go to the reservations page, this is the managed reservation slug that we specified in the options. It is a page, so you can put content at the top. This lovely formatted content is there. And I'm logged in as an admin, so I can register a new user by entering the information here. Right. I can also make a reservation. So I can search for rentals. In this case, I'll just leave the default from May 26th, May 28th, and I can stay 2 nights. And when we come back, and this is something guests can do too, we see all of the rentals on the map. And green indicates it's available during that time period. Black indicates it's not. These are all seasonal sites in this case. And then red indicates cases where it's already booked. It's not available. So just go. All right. I've got some admin information that looking at from a developer perspective how fast the site is, only for my ID in this case, but you won't have that. So you can change a user. If you want to make a reservation for a user, you start typing their name. And it automatically does a search through all the users and displays the ones that have it. You can search by phone number, email address, username, or last name, comma, first name. So there's a whole bunch of test accounts that I have made. So for example, Bradley at sunriseweb.ca, I can choose that user and I can change to them. And now it acts like I'm logged in as Brad Trivers, although it recognizes I'm still an admin, and I can make reservations for Brad Trivers as an admin. I can go through. I can go straight to a particular rental if there's one that I want to make a reservation for, I want to check out. I can also see the reservations that Brad Trivers had. You can see over here there are 10 canceled reservations. This was a test account, so you can see when those were made, and you can look at any notes that were added. You can even see the pricing for that particular reservation. If you click on show hide pricing, you can see this is what's shown to the user as well. You can see there's also a bunch of expired reservations. So these are ones that were made and no down payment was ever received, so they expired. And if you want to view a particular reservation, you click on reservation number, and it will actually go to the site, which is a custom post type that you have to define for each site you want to rent. And again, that's part of what we do, is help you maybe create the sites in bulk instead of entering them manually. If you have many, like in this particular implementation, there's over 500 sites. So you see for that site, it happens to be a seasonal. It shows you for this site exactly what the availability is for different days. So it looks like Dana Adams has made a reservation for 3 days here for tenting only. It's an overflow site, yes. And overflow sites are not available for reservations typically, except for by admins. That's why it's showing as black. It's not seasonal. It's an overflow site. You can see there's the different payment types. I'm in as an admin. You wouldn't see this if you're a guest. Specify the camping equipment they're coming in. It has some reporting on the back end as well that will give you, for example, occupancy reports. Let me just go back to the reservations page to show you that. I'll load up here. It's a rather large database at this point. And so in the back end, for example, if you wanted to do an occupancy report, that's what this area is here. Again, only visible to admins. You can figure out, who is checking in within specified start and end dates, who is checking out between specified start and end dates, any reservation activity between where the last modified date is within the specified end dates. You can see cancellations again between the dates you choose, and then this an occupancy report for the start date, so you can see on that given day who's in the campground. And then there's a summary occupancy, So this is for an entire period. For example, you could look at for a month what's going on. So let's look at 2013. Let's say the month of July, which is a busy month for this campground. We'll go to July, we'll go right to August 1st. Actually, no, July 31st. You can see it's got the nice drop-down calendars. And then I'm going to click on Summary Occupancy, and it will go off now, and it'll create this report and display it on screen. It will actually dynamically generate a PDF version of the report if I check this button. It's going to come back here if all goes well. Then we see during that month in 2013, there were 3 no-show reservations. 1,725 reservations were completed, and there are a whole bunch that were canceled. 521 canceled. So you can see it breaks it down by country as well. 5,566 from Canada, 73 from the US, and 19 that were international. You can see by rental category, there were 412 seasonal rentals, and then again it breaks it down by different locations. 172 inn reservations, again broken down by origin of guest. Retail, 5,074 reservations. You can see that there. And then you can see the occupancy by rental type. Two-way hookup, double beds, 2 twin beds. Obviously those are in the inn. Overflow sites, 3-way 30 amp services, 3-way 50 amp services, unserviced campsites, etc. Anyhow, there's a lot packed into this reservation plugin, and I've gone on for 17 minutes, so I think I'll stop it here. Thank you.